Time now for Sit 6-0. This is where I get 60 seconds to talk about anything. Start the clock, please. Here's what's on my mind this morning. What are the ingredients of a most valuable player? You have to make an impact on your team in a serious way. You have to put up numbers. Your team needs to win, and people need to look at you like an MVP. Enter Auston Matthews of the Leafs. And last night, boy, with his team trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, and the opponents yesterday, Winnipeg, breathing down their necks in the division, it was Matthews in overtime with a beauty. Absolute perfect goal, backhand in OT. He's now got a league-best 21 goals, 5th in total points. Oh, yeah, he's doing it with a bum wrist that, according to his head coach, he's been dealing with all year. Now, to be fair about it, Connor McDavid of the Oilers is probably going to win MVP because he's that ridiculous. 1st in points, 2nd in goals behind Matthews. But I guarantee you, Auston will be a finalist for that award. He checks all the boxes because he's become rather difficult to check. That is Sid Sixero. One of the biggest Leaf fans on earth. His social media following is off the charts, and he's a friend. Steve Dangle joining us from Sportsnet. Stevie, I would assume you are pro Auston Matthews in the MVP discussion, which is going to rage here by the day, I would guess.
Absolutely. We were talking about Matthews. You know, MVP is hard enough to win, but 50 goals in 50 games. It's so elusive. If anyone even gets close, it's news now. And the only two people I can think of in recent memory are Ovechkin and Stamkos, and even they didn't really come close. Ovechkin's got 21 goals in 25 games. Man. That is absolutely ridiculous. And he's chasing it down. I didn't think he'd be able to with the wrist. He's got 3 goals in the last 2 games, and he hasn't even really had to take a shot in order to score them, is the wild part.
But it's one of those moments last night, Steve, and listen, again, I want to emphasize this. McDavid's probably going to get MVP because he's that good in Edmonton, but that's a moment last night where Winnipeg wins the game. I know the Leafs would still get a point, but they get a little closer in the North Division. The chatter today, you know what that would be like. That's such a big MVP-ish moment, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That was it. By the way, if you didn't watch that game, you missed probably the best game of the season.
Game. Great point.
The Leafs were clearly the better team, but the Winnipeg Jets goalie, Connor Hellebuck, he was goalie of the year last year, absolutely stood on his brain. The Jets tie it late, and here's Auston Matthews. Whoop! That's him last night. Beauty. Absolutely unbelievable. Beauty. Dominant performance. And he deserved that one. My God, that goal. That's not even the first time he's used that move. He used that on the Sabres last year to similar effect.
Imagine if he had 2 good wrists. Imagine what he'd be doing.
You know, he had a wrist injury last year at the All-Star game in St. Louis, back when you were allowed to talk to people. And he shook my hand with his cast, and I knew I was shaking the most valuable wrist in Toronto. So it was the most dainty handshake I've ever given.
You're forgiven. Steve, I got to say, big picture, in previous years, that's the type of game, with about 30 seconds to go here, that the Leafs don't win, right?
100%. Yeah, there's definitely a different vibe to this team. They were the best team all night long. They were getting frustrated. They were breaking sticks, but they just found a way to get through. The best goalie they've played this season in Connor Hellebuck 4 times and in overtime. It was awesome.
Steve Dangle, by the way, happy 33rd birthday. Steve Dangle, everyone. 33.
Thank you, and congrats on the new gig, man. Congrats on the new gig. This is a little happier than my last birthday, which everyone referred to as the darkest day in sports. That was fun. It's a happy birthday.
Last year sucked at this time. This year's birthday is let's just agree we're both awesome and end the conversation there, Steve. We love you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
33, going on 18, Steve Dangle. Sound Off coming up. Again, the province, all over the place. The restrictions have been lifted to a certain extent, so there is some freedom. The question today on You Sound Off, what are your plans this weekend now that some of those restrictions are off the table? Call us 1-866-267-3797, feedback at breakfasttelevision.ca, and tweet us 24/7 at BreakfastTV. You Sound Off next here on BT.